While many YouTubers get very personal and talk about every single aspect of their life, that can't be said for all. Over the past 5 years, HowToBasic has successfully been able to hide his identity off the internet, even though he has a massive amount of success, with many asking who this person is. Before we get into the specifics of HowToBasic, I feel the need to talk a little bit more about the how-to genre of videos that dominate much of YouTube. One of the earliest types of vids to become popular on YouTube were in the self-help category, and when I say beginning of YouTube, I do mean a decade ago. Need to quit smoking? YouTube had you covered. Need to learn how to make a paper airplane? You could find that out as well. Many don't realize just how game-changing it was to now be able to look up a video on whatever you needed help with. We may take it for granted now since we're used to it, but there was a time when having a person that can instruct you on how to cook any food you wanted to make at the moment wasn't a click away. Since then, more and more tutorials have popped up, and many of these channels are now running quite the lucrative business for themselves, finding different niches in the genre. This is where the star of this video, HowToBasic, comes into the picture. What set this channel apart from the other self-help people on the internet was that he wasn't attempting to, well, help anyone. In fact, I can guarantee that if you were to follow the instructions given by this individual, you'd probably be dead within a matter of days. The uploads on HowToBasic started all the way back in 2011 with a pretty harmless instructional video on how to pick up an umbrella. Pretty standard stuff. But as the videos continued on, the instructions became more and more outrageous. This was a parody account. This channel's most notable for eggs, yes, just standard chicken eggs that he's known to break a lot of throughout his videos. The first appearance of one was in How to Clean a Shirt in 40 Seconds, where he includes an egg and a list of ingredients to make your clothing good as new. From there on out, throwing eggs was the standard, and if you ever wanted to follow one of his tutorials, it would be a good idea to have a dozen on hand for yourself. With this premise, HowToBasic has remained one of the biggest channels on YouTube with over 8 million people subscribed. Not only does he have a lot of subs though, but he's continuously been able to receive millions upon millions of views each month for over 5 years. He's been able to keep a following by making the videos progressively more outrageous as the years go by. While it started off with goofy troll videos, the tutorials now often lead to the destruction of his house and belongings. I'd hate to be the person tricked into clicking on one of his recent videos thinking it would give them legitimate advice. With all that being said about this how-to parody account, there is one question many people still ask, which is who's making all these videos? What YouTube has always been promoted as is a platform where the content creators have a very personal relationship with their audience, something you never get from stars on traditional television. With the prevalence of vlogs where YouTubers bring you along in their day-to-day lives, many may feel that people are giving too much information, telling when they had a miscarriage or getting a divorce. Some wonder if it all goes too far. On the complete opposite end of the spectrum, you have YouTubers that give away no information about their personal life, where they live, or what they even look like. While the internet gives people the ability to share too much information, it also gives others the ability to hide behind their computer screen. Not knowing who a person is, of course, leads to some wanting to find out who they are. And one of the biggest examples of this is HowToBasic. For years, people have been trying to find out the identity of this man, or maybe even woman. The channel has millions of fans, yet no one knows who's running it. The biggest lead people have is that he's often collaborating on projects with Max Mofo, which makes sense because they're both Australian. Going through these joint projects is what most people have used in an attempt to find out who he is. No hacking or stalking, just paying attention to YouTube videos and other social media posts. In some of these videos, we're able to see a very brief reflection of the man behind the camera. But unfortunately for us, these aren't the best shots. Even when looking at every single frame, you can't really make out what he looks like. One major clue for many searching showed up in a Snapchat video of Max calling his friend HowToBasic in it. This guy is often seen in his videos with them not addressing who he is, which has led many people to believe this is their guy. In another video where they are playing a game in which HowToBasic throws objects at them, this man appears on the side of the frame for a few moments, making many believe they're onto something. But another possible explanation is that Max called him HowToBasic in that Snapchat video just to mess with us, and he's just a completely different person. Next, you may be asking what his real name is, and well, there is a lot of contradictory information out there on this one. Every website I went to was listing a different name for him, with most not even giving a source. In one of Max's vlogs though, he appears to reveal it.
That shop over there is HowToBasic's real name crossed with my name as some sort of pizza place. Hong Kong's crazy, I tell ya. Man, I wish Jackson was here. Oh, wait, there he is. HowToBasic comparing Hong Kong. That's the first time you've ever seen him pick up an egg and put it down without breaking it. No, he's not going to break it.
With years of searching, people have yet to uncover too much about him. He's successfully been able to stay pretty anonymous on the internet for years. This is pretty amazing considering just how many people have been obsessed with finding out who is behind the HowToBasic character. Unfortunately, not all creators who want to stay anonymous have been able to do so. I Hate Everything is a YouTube channel run by a man named Alex, and he's gained a sizable audience in the past year. The channel's most well known for two types of content. First is a series where he'll pick a certain person, company, or subject and discuss why he hates it in detail, hence his name. His second series is The Search for the Worst. In it, he'll pick a movie ranked poorly on IMDb and watch it for himself, then give a detailed review on the film explaining what he liked and of course what he didn't like about it. Just like HowToBasic, Alex has chosen not to show his face in the videos. Because of this, many start to scour the internet and find any way possible to discover the real identity of this YouTuber. They took what little information they knew about him already and went from there. One of these stalkers went as far to create a blog that he wanted to be the hub for the search effort for finding the identity of this YouTuber. Piece by piece, they stitched together information about Alex, such as where he's from, who his friends are, and even family members. This led to problems in Alex's personal life, including a massive amount of anxiety that led to him taking a break from his channel, as he explained in a video he made over the ordeal.
And not surprisingly, this completely threw me for a loop, and ever since then my anxiety has been pretty much a daily struggle. It can be anything that causes it, maybe only a small thing like being too scared to call up the dentist to rearrange my appointment because they're on holiday on my original booking, or stopping myself from going swimming simply because I don't want to interact with the person at reception, or even more destructive behavior like panic attacks that wake me up at like 6 AM and leave me shaking and out of breath for seemingly nothing. Or locking myself away and refusing to interact with anyone and just leaving myself to my own terrible thoughts. The cycle of anxiety is one of the worst things about it. It's a spiral that just gets worse and worse if you let it.
This brings into question if even there was a way to find out the real identity of HowToBasic for sure, would it be morally correct to do so? As a viewer of his content, do we have the right to know the person behind the account? These are very legitimate questions that we all need to ask ourselves. Whether you personally feel it's right or wrong, there's no denying that as long as people have a way to discover a person's identity, there will always be at least one or two people that will use it to discover who that said person is, then proceed to leak what they found all over the internet. Thankfully for most of the people watching at home, you'll probably never have to deal with an online stalker simply because you're hidden within the masses of all the people using the internet, but it still wouldn't hurt to take precautions. So until next time, thank you for watching.